Welcome back to the Soul Business Companion. And really, this episode for you is if you've been feeling stuck, lost, confused, frustrated in your business, because this is something that I've been feeling for a little while now, and I just wanted to come on and talk about it because it is something that comes up again and again in business. It's something that we feel at various stages of our growth. It's not just something we feel at the beginning, it's something that we feel when we are expanding at various stages, and I wanted to come on to talk about that because it can feel pretty shit at the time. So yeah, I've been working on my business, online business, for 3 years now, and I started delivering one set of offers, which was all to do with sort of more the energy alchemy and spiritual development, really. But through that process, I reignited my love of business and business skills. Before I came online, I had a long career as a project manager, getting projects up the ground and running successfully, and that ignited in me that love of doing that again. And I saw there were loads of women out there that had got really great gifts, but they didn't know the process of bringing a business into life. And when I started on the online world, there was so much stuff about putting your crystals on your windowsill and cleaning your house out and staying high vibe and charging what you're worth and all this kind of schmuzzle, but it didn't really help me with the step by step strategy of do this, and it'll work. So that's what I ended up doing, because I learned then put all these steps in place and realised if I can keep doing that and keep replicating, it works, and I can keep growing my income and keep growing my business. So that's what I did. But working online is a real strange environment to be in because it creates kind of a false reality. And lately I just felt really disenfranchised from my own business. I felt really confused and frustrated about, I could sort of see where I now wanted to go, but I couldn't. I felt disconnected from it, and I just wasn't feeling it. And that really came up the other morning when I was sort of planning out social media posts, and I just felt quite there about going on social media. And I just thought, right at the minute, I really dislike social media. There's such a false reality. There's just people walking around, perfect bodies, perfect shape, perfect teeth, and their perfect homes with their perfect partners, their perfect business, and their perfect monthly income, and it's like most people aren't like that. That's not the reality for most people. My house is a tip at the moment because I'm having work done. There's loads of mess everywhere. Doesn't stop me making money. I'm a lot older and a lot less glamorous than I used to be. I'm considerably heavier in my body than I used to be. Hasn't stopped me. But this constant bombardment of sort of perfection, and it's great to have goals, but there's such a lot of unrealistic expectations out there that it puts so much pressure on us that we can feel like a failure because we're not meeting these ridiculously high levels of what we're expected to be. And particularly as I'm an older mum. I'm 52. I have a 12-year-old daughter and 21-year-old son, so like split families. We all get on great, but there's a lot there. I'm no spring chicken. I'm not as young as I was. I get tired. I've got health problems left over from my abusive marriage that, I've got nerve damage, and, so I'm not as active as I am active, not as active as I want to be. It's had a negative impact on my weight, which means I look at myself and I think, oh my God, who's going to want to listen to me? I'm flab, drab and boring to know is what I started to feel like. And of course, that's not true. That's not, we all have a story that gets us where to want to be. Some people have got a rags to riches tale and it's wonderful. Some people have just got, well, I've actually just built success. Most of us start off almost, some people start off in desperation like I did. Some people start just because they want to change. But this social media, it's a false reality, and it starts to bombard you, and you just constantly, when you're in coaching and consulting, because you're putting stuff out there, the social media algorithm says, oh, that's what you like, so it just throws it at you. So you see all these other people, and then you're in danger of going down comparisonitis. Why would somebody want to work with me when I don't yet have a 6 or 7 figure income? I don't have that. I can't say I've built my business to millions in 3 years, because I haven't. But to some people, that those people who do that are almost a bit unrelatable, because you think, well, I'd just be happy earning 2k a month. I'd be happy with 3k a month. I'd be happy to top up my income. So there's different levels of relatability. That's what I wanted to say, I suppose. And other side, I think we've got all these world events going on at the moment. We've had a pandemic, we've got war, we've got recession, we've got climate problems, and all that, just sort of impacts on this, just this general feeling of shifting and change, and then people can respond badly to it. People can lash out at others, or they can start to self-doubt themselves and think, oh God, what really am I trying to do? Am I really cut out for this? Am I actually going to be able to do it? And those thoughts started creeping in, because I'd reached a level of income and then plateaued, and I wanted the next level of success. But I also recognised that meant leaving things behind that I was currently doing in my business that are an income stream, and this was bringing up kind of feelings of insecurity. So it's very easiest at each stage in our business for us to start questioning ourselves. To think, because we have to learn new things, and we have to enlarge our capacity to be the business owner that our business needs us to be. And I started off, as I say, delivering sort of dowsing courses, home energy healing courses, which up until now I've still done, and I enjoyed doing them, but it's really more of a personal passion of mine. What I'm really, really interested in doing, and what I realised quite quickly after going online, was I was passionate about helping women create their own success, because having your own business gives you much more power and sovereignty of your own life than working for other people, and it means that you can organise your family life and your relationships better, because there's so many expectations on women, aren't there? We're like service humans, to mop up after everybody and clean up and be totally there as an emotional support being, and we have to put ourselves first. And having your own business actually enables you to do that, because you're expressing what you want to give to the world, and you can say, these are my boundaries, and this is the message I want to bring, this is the positive impact I want to make, and it will enable me to spend more quality time with my family, enable me to not do the stuff that I don't like doing. I can get somebody in to do my housework and my laundry and my garden and all the other things I've been trying to do. So we go through these growth stages, and when we're feeling frustrated and stuck and confused, we're often at this moment, this contraction before an expansion. So what brought this on really was I was on a bit of a visibility drive, because I'd realised my visibility efforts in my marketing had kind of stalled. I'd got sort of stuck on Facebook and doing the social media, and I was doing a weekly podcast of my own, like you're listening to, obviously, but I wasn't going out there and going, oh, I'd like to be a guest on yours, and I'd like you to be a guest on mine, I'd like you to come into my Facebook group, and I'll come into your Facebook group, and would you like me to do a guest blog, would you like to do a guest blog? All these kind of visibility building exercises I wasn't doing. And then by going out there, and I'd been in my own little bubble for a while, really as a result of some healing, really a healing process I've been on for a while, I realised I needed to break out of that bubble. So I went out to sort of look what was out there, and really that brought on this attack of sort of frustration and confusion, not comparisonitis, because I was just sort of like, oh, where am I different from other people, which is a slight comparisonitis obviously, but also like, why am I doing this? What do I really want to exist in this online space, because social media seemed to be so toxic and unrealistic and relentless. And I just thought, this is why I was focusing on other forms of visibility, because it's perfectly viable to be extremely successful without having a huge social media presence. We know that, because I know of people who are, I'm in other mentorships run by people who actually don't base their success and their marketing on social media. It's one element of their marketing, but it's not all of it. So what that led me to do was sort of try and think, I don't have this cohesive picture really anymore of what I want to do. There are offers that I came in with that I need to let them go, and they need to go on the back burner. They need to be released from the world of my business, because they're taking up space that something else wants to emerge into. Something else is coming, I can feel it, but I don't know what it is yet. I can't see it clearly. So I was journaling around all these questions to try and find a resolution. And the other things I did were the 5 things really I want to share with you about how we go through this process to sort of this smog of confusion, frustration. I don't know what to do. I don't know what works. I don't know how to piece it all together. Was to take these sort of 5 steps to come back home to myself in my business. Now, one is to talk to people. So I talk to peers, I talk to my mentors, I talk to my mum, I talk to anybody that's going to feed back to me some of the things I said so I can see it in a new way, and to get my thoughts out, to express it verbally out there in the world, to release that energy, to say to the universe, I'm looking for clarity. I can feel, if I can verbalize it enough, I can bring it into being. So talking is great, as is reading. I went back and reread things like The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks to see what were my upper limits that were showing themselves again. Was it outshining people? Was it, this fear of abandonment? What were these big upper limits that were making me think in this way that I was starting to question myself and doubt myself and say, oh, look, and they would show up with these really stupid thoughts, you're too fat, you're too old, no one wants to listen to you, you've got crooked teeth, all stupid thoughts like that actually, well, they're not stupid, but they're limiting thoughts that my brain was using to trick me, to try and stop me taking action into this expansion that is coming. And the other thing I did was rest. So I made sure I got plenty of downtime off social media, real rest, rest away from all that. I looked at, going out in nature. I looked at doing quality things. I looked at went to art workshops and art exhibitions, and getting my mountain bike out and properly serviced and up and going again, because I hadn't ridden that for a little bit of a while. Up the amount of times a week I play tennis. All things that I do for me to make me feel good and to enrich my life experience, so that work isn't the totality of my existence, with family squashed in the bottom and self-care somehow floating, orbiting around like a moon around the giant planet that is my world. No, the rest and all these things have to be incorporated in the world of my business. They're not satellites that float around it. So I had to carve out more time for rest, to rest my mind, for spiritual time, for quiet time, and that enabled me to do the reading. It enabled me to look at my how I was treating myself in terms of health, exercise, food, diet, to enable me to create these to move these more into habits, which was the fourth thing, creating better habits of prioritizing sleep, which I always have done, regular bedtime, get up early. I also started, I downloaded Wim Hof's app, and I started taking cold showers and doing his breathing. That was really helpful for reigniting sort of this dormancy that was left in my body following abuse. I was kind of like stuck in stasis. So I was, for instance, had constant pain but absolutely no appetite. I didn't know when to eat or what to eat, and then I'd end up overeating. So that triggered, that really helped me. So look at doing things differently. What habits have you got that you would like to get? What habits do you have that you want to let go of? And can you replace them with something more healthy? Use the health tracker on your phone, the diet tracker on your phone, the alcohol tracker on your phone. Start to see exactly what you're doing to yourself. Are you having enough time reading, exercising? Are you seeing friends and family enough? What are your habits? So do these kinds of things. So the first one was really talk it all out with someone. I'd say the 5 steps I took. The second one was to read, because reading other people's ways of how they've coped when they've come up against challenges in life, and these feelings of, I'm in this growth stage but I don't know how to handle it, and I don't want to retract, but I haven't got the toolkit to deal with this level of growth. I had the toolkit to deal with the last level of growth because I got through it, but right now my level of growth is different, so I'm going to need different tools to create this different reality. So reading enables you to absorb that. Then, as I say, the third step was rest, the fourth step was to look at my habits, and the fifth step, of course, was gratitude. And I had to really look at how far I'd come since I started my online business. So I started my online business only probably 3.5 years ago, or 3 years ago. Not that long, actually. No, I'm not one of these people that's gone from rags to riches that's made $1 million in 3 years. I can't claim that. I can claim that I hit, good high 4-figure months consistently, sometimes 5-figure months consistently, or mostly consistency. But no, I'm not there yet at the 1 million mark. But when I started this, I had 2 jobs, and I was trying to squeeze this in. I was desperately working all the hours God sends, and looking after my family, because I had fled my abusive marriage some years before that, but I was going through this really long, really terrible protracted divorce to free myself and my children from this man. And that actually only finished in January this year. It took me 8.5 years to divorce him, despite my best efforts. The court system really hampered women. It didn't do us, me or the kids, any favours. It put us in a bind with him. It didn't look at the abuse post relationship, and actually financially for me it created yet another burden, that because I was the most financially stable within the partnership, and I found at the end of the court result, I have got to pay my abuser. And that, that we can tap and we can think we can give all we like on that, but the system is wrong, and that still galls me. That still sits there, that says, how can that be right, that a man who has abused his wife and his children is then owed money from his victims? So that was in there. So there's still lots of tapping and things, but I had to sit there in gratitude and say, yes, but last time you felt this sort of contraction, frustration and pain was when you left the marriage. And it was the time before that was when you left your previous partner. The time before that was when you left the job that was sucking the life out of you. So these feelings of contraction and frustration and confusion are normally when it's like, isn't it? It's like a star being born. The gaseous nebula has to collapse and explode, and then the star is born. And it's at this moment of contraction. In terms of the spiritual Gaelic tradition, the Irish tradition where I come from, on the wheel of time, this is the dark night of the soul. It's when we're thinking, I can't see what's coming. I've let go of all this stuff, and I'm out in this darkness. I cannot see what wants to emerge. All I can do is sit here and wait, because if I wait long enough, like in the dead of winter, the light will return. Something will emerge, and I will be able to see what that is. So it's about being patient and sitting in gratitude and saying, well, actually for me, for instance, it was to say, I no longer live with an abuser, and I have my 2 children. I haven't lost custody, and we are now more financially stable than we've ever been, and we have peace, and we can sit and laugh over the dinner table without worrying about being ridiculed or what we have to say. And I've created a business, and I don't work in an office, and I'm there to pick up my daughter from school every day, and we get to do great things. The sense of gratitude was really important for me to tune back into the feelings that I wanted, and why I was doing what I was doing. Because so often when we start out in business, we're told, one of the common things people say is, how do you want to feel? If you're feeling frustrated or angry, how do you want to feel instead? And to think about those feelings. But for me, there's another much more deeper level on that. Is, what do I want to embody? And then that brought me back to the really, why does my business exist? Why did I create this to start with? To actually, what do I want to embody is the values, and it's the values that underpin your business. So the values might be wealth, they might be cooperation, they might be friendship, they might be fun, they might be humour, they might be womanhood, they might be, there's 1,001 values we could embody in our business. It might be simplicity, spaciousness, strength, anything, play, friendship, elegance. What values and sort of characteristics your business embodies are the values and characteristics that that some of them are your qualities of your soul, and some of them are qualities of your personhood. So there is an elegance about my business, but that's not an elegance of my personhood. I'm not elegant, but it's an elegance is something that's probably a value of my soul, that I appreciate elegance, and I recognize when things are elegant and smooth and flowing, even if I don't physically embody it. So there are different sort of values and characteristics. Some of them will be about the sort of personhood of your business, and some will be about its soul. So it's about tuning back into those values that we embody, to say, that's why I started my business, and those are the things that I want to embody. So what am I currently doing that doesn't represent them, and what do I need to do that does? Because those characteristics are like the placards that you hold up in the world, that your ideal client looks at and says, those are my values too. Those are the things that I want to embody and I appreciate, and that person is doing that, and that's what draws you together. So that's why I was coming back home into my business, and it made me realise that if I go back into the basics of why I started, really go back to my why, it doesn't matter that I was feeling, or that it doesn't matter that any of us will be feeling confused or frustrated, or blocked and stuck, it doesn't matter that we are feeling those things. It doesn't mean that we haven't built success. It doesn't mean that we're not going to go on to build much more success. It's just this contracted moment before we go into this expansion again. And it made me sit there and thought, what are the values I want to embody in my business? What are some of the offers that I'm still doing, perhaps that are no longer sitting congruent with that are taking up space in the world of my business, that actually it's space that something else wants to fill and wants to come into existence. So it's about freeing up that space and allowing it to emerge, and having the faith that what is going to emerge is going to be better than the thing that was already there. So that's what I wanted to talk about, really. If you're feeling lost, confused, and you're looking at your email list and your social media, and you're just feeling so confused and, oh my God, can I do this? I don't even know where to start. Am I cut out for this? Who's going to want it? These are just thoughts that you can, there are thoughts, they are drawing your attention to something within yourself that you need to dig deeper on. So get talking to people, read widely to help your brain to start thinking differently about things and throwing up different questions, because if you don't know the right questions to ask, you won't get to those answers. And feeling stuck is often just that. We have some kind of gap in our knowledge or our skill set. It doesn't mean we're stuck, it just doesn't mean we don't know what to do. So reading can help stimulate you to think differently. Rest, take care of yourself, do the things that make you feel good. Develop healthy habits in your life, your relationships, whatever. Develop healthy habits. And then finally, really be grateful for what you got, because in the great scheme of life and universe and everything, you might be moaning about, oh, we're in recession, gas prices and cost of living is go up and all the rest of it. But you still have a roof over your head, you still are creating your business, you still can put gas in the tank, you still have, food in your belly. And many other people out there don't even have that. So we have to be really grateful for what we take for granted. So as I say, this episode has been for you if you've been feeling lost, frustrated and confused about where to go in your business. We all feel it. We all have new phases of growth and new phases to learn, and at each time we will go into one of these phases, and rather than going, oh God, it means I'm not cut out for it, I recognise now that it is a point in your growth that says you need to up level. Something good is coming, and no change is easy. There is always stress and struggle and with change. So, and this is what it's all about. So rather than go, oh my God, and shy away from it and letting your upper limits come in and stop you, it's about looking at it sort of almost like childlike wonder and going, I wonder, there's this grey space of confusion. I wonder what is going to emerge through it on the other side and make itself visible to me. And sit there with excitement and go, wow, I wonder what's going to come forth out of my business and into my life, or, out of life into my business that is going to, what is this thing that's about to emerge, and get enthusiastic about it and see what happens. And it's often the time when you need to let go of things that you've been thinking about letting go of, but perhaps you've been reluctant to let go of because it's a little income stream, or it's a little something, or it's something you've always done, people have always known you for it, it's something that you're comfortable in. But now's the time to step out of your comfort zone, because new things need to come. So, hope you've enjoyed today's episode. I will see you next week. I'd love you to like, comment and share. If this has been good for you, reach out to me. I'd love to hear if you've been feeling confused and frustrated. You reach out to me at faye@fayetemple.com. I can guarantee I'm on the other side of the email. I will answer you. And I will see you next week. You can also hop over to my website to download more free goodies. Want to connect with the soul of your business, and I've got a new freebie coming about getting visible, which is what we're going to be talking about on next week's podcast. So I will see you next week. Have a great week, and let me know how you're doing. Take care then.